Drawing 1-2. Today we're going to start the pen and ink handscape drawings. You guys used the pen and ink first semester when we did the self-portraits with the animals. So it should be kind of familiar with you, but I'm going to go over it a little bit anyways of how to use the pen and ink just in case either you've forgotten or you weren't here. So, and I only have a couple examples. You will get a handout that actually has student example works on it, both sides, that give you a better idea of what you're supposed to be doing, because I don't get to keep these, students kept these. So you'll be able to actually see better what you need to do from this handout when you get it. So, to start, project objective. My job for this project is to create a landscape drawing. We just did ink landscapes, so you know how to do a landscape. But this one, in which one or more hands play an integral part in the landscape, either replacing parts of the landscape or adding to it. So, like this one, the hand became part of the mountain where our little person is standing on it. Okay, so it replaced part of the mountain and became part of the mountain. In some of these, like this one, the hand became like a building. So it's all these buildings, and then this hand became part of the building. In this one here, the hands are kind of like the waves helping the dolphins splash around in the water. And here we have the hands are actually part of the land. This one, the hand is kind of playing a part of the watering hole. This one is almost kind of hard to see, but it's kind of cool. The hands are actually the tree itself with all the vines and the leaves around it. If you turn it over, the flower, the petals of the flower are actually the hands. Here our hands are not only the mountains in the background, but the cactus. So the hand's kind of like that coming up, and then they made it look like a cactus. Down here we have an underwater scene where the hands are kind of like the coral underneath. Here again, the hands kind of meld into it. All of these trees are actually the hands. So they're not trees at all. They're all hands coming up, and then they have the texture of the tree. And same thing here. They just extended the fingers to become the branches. And if you look closely at your picture, when you look at it, the leaves are actually little handprints all over. So this will give you a better idea of how it means that either they're playing an integral part or they take out part of the landscape and are actually replacing it with the hand. While you're doing that, you're going to use the calligraphy pens, the nibs, and again, they're all different styles, sizes, so that you can get different lines that you need to get. The India ink, the bottle, there'll be little cups like this that you can put the India ink in with little lids, so that the bottle itself doesn't need to be out or at any tables. And then you can always use accent colors if you want, colored pencils, watercolor paints. You don't have to, so I didn't really pull them out, but you're more than welcome to if you want to add color. You can tell, like this one was colored pencil, that one was colored pencil, and then a little bit of watercolor paint. It's up to you if you want to do that or not. You do not have to. By the end of the project, I will have created a tonal, meaning light to dark. So again, you're doing values because you want it to look realistic, even though it's a hand, and you're like, well, that's not very real. Well, no, but it's replacing something that is real. So a real tree, you're replacing with the hand, but you still want it to look like a tree, but it's now a hand instead. So you're creating a tonal handscape drawing while using perspective, foreground, middle ground, and background. And the shading techniques, again, now we're using hatching, cross-hatching, stippling, squircling, all over again, but now we're using it with the pen and the ink. Helpful hints, warnings, and insights. Remember that land, as it moves away, it gets bigger, or not bigger, but higher on the picture plane. Remember, hands must portray the hand as a predominant, totally unusual and unexpected character in the environment. So you wanted to surprise your viewer, where they go, oh, that's a tree. Oh, wait a minute, no, it's not, it's a hand. Give them something interesting to look at, where from far away, they're kind of like, well, it kind of looks like a tree. And they get, oh my gosh, it's a hand. Give them that unusual, give them that experience of seeing something new and unexpected. Show hands interacting with the environment, either passively or actively, like the ones where in the water with the dolphins, they're actively involved, becoming waves that the dolphins are riding on. That's actively involved. Passively involved are like the trees, or the one that became like the land, where the hand is actually the land, but it's not moving, it's not really doing anything. That's passively involved. It's part of the environment without playing a part. You can use accent colors, and then remember all 10 values need to be included. So first thing you're going to do, value bars and the value bars. So you're going to get this handout again. You already saw this once with the pen. Well, we're now using it with the calligraphy pen and nibs. How you do this? The pens look like this. They have a circle at the top. The rounded part here goes into that circle at the top. So that way you can change which pen nib you want depending on what kind of line you want. Do you want thick? Do you want thin? Do you want a double line? You'll have to look, like that's a very thick nib, so it's going to give you a big line. Here's a very sharp pointed one. It's going to give you a very thin line. Play with them. See what they do when you use them. Now, how you use calligraphy pens, the silver part is on top. So you kind of always hold it like this, or not the silver, I'm sorry, the gold. The silver part is always on bottom, the gold part is always on top. This little space that is in between is where the ink wells up and is held until you start to draw. So you take your pen, make sure the gold part is on top, you dip it in to the India ink, okay, and then you start to do your lines. Now, with calligraphy pens, whatever lines you're drawing always go down. So if I was like to do a circle, you go down on one side and down on the other. You never go up because it won't work. Like it'll kind of catch on the paper and it'll look weird. Always your lines go down. Okay, and they kind of meet at the top if you're doing a circle and meet at the bottom kind of thing. So your lines always go down. And you're going to practice this so that you know when it first touches the paper, you're going to get kind of a glob of ink. Well, that's just the limitation of it. So if you already know that, where are you going to start your line on here? Maybe you'll kind of touch the paper first, get that glob of ink down on a scrap paper, and then you'll start your drawing. Maybe you like that kind of look of that globby ink. You're the artist, you got to decide these things. But you're going to practice the hatching, cross-hatching, stippling, squircling like you did with the pen, but now you're using the ink. And I am just spraying that all over the place. Okay. Step 3. So that's the first step is your name. Second step is that you practice that. Step 3, setting. Come up with ideas for your environment. Where do you want this place to be? What do you want it to be? Use the back of this handout for drawing thumbnail sketches of different ideas. Is it going to be a landscape? Is it going to be a cityscape? Is it going to be by the ocean? Is it going to be buildings? Is it going to be trees? Is it going to be like in Africa with a watering hole where the elephants are? The world is your oyster. Think about if you could travel anywhere, where would it be? What would it look like? What would the landscape be? What would the buildings look like? And then how could you remove something and replace it with a hand? So you're going to come up with your setting. Step 4, plan out how your hands will interact in that landscape to turn it into a handscape. You must portray the hand as a predominant, totally unusual and unexpected character in the environment. Again, passively or actively, whether it's actively involved or it's just part of it, that's up to you. Practice drawing your handscape. Again, I would use the back of any of these pages and kind of practice, like truly lay it out. You're going to get dirty. It happens. You can wash up at the end. So practice drawing. Step 6, lightly draw using pencil your ideas of your handscape onto your paper. Your paper can go vertical or horizontal. Doesn't matter to me at all. You decide. Whatever you've kind of come up with your plan, that's what you draw here. Pencil lightly. Make sure that you include perspective, a middle ground, foreground, middle ground, and a background. It needs to be a complete drawing. So think about the background as well. What's going on around your objects that you're drawing. Use the nibs, so all of these, and the black India ink to draw in the details, adding details, values, textures in the background area, all of that. Once you get it drawn with the pencil, you now go over the pencil with your lines. If you're going to use colors, plan out what colors you're going to use and where you're going to use them as accent colors within. Paint the accent areas. You can use watercolor paints. I put in here watercolor paints. They kind of give you a more subtle look, but if you absolutely want to use color pencils, that'll work as well. Make sure that you've included all surface textures and values within the entire drawing. Step 11, make sure that all blobs and boo-boos are worked in, because you can't erase them, obviously. It's neat and complete, and then you grade yourself. So, again, the environment can be made up, it can be real, as long as your hand becomes a part of it. So, here's some more examples down at the bottom of this. For grading, 9 to 10 points, composition. Strong, thoughtful, creative composition. The drawing fills up most, if not all, of the entire paper. And again, it can go vertical or horizontal, doesn't matter to me. 9 to 10 points, perspective. Highly accomplished ability in creating foreground, middle ground, and background. The ink, control of the material and processes for 9 to 10 points. Completed drawing shows excellent, clear, and highly effective use, control, and understanding of ink techniques and processes so that you know how to use it and what happens if there's a little blob. You work it in. 9 to 10 points, surface textures and details. The entire drawing includes all of the surface textures and details that you can come up with in your drawing. So if you pull a reference picture, include whatever you see that. If it's kind of made up, make sure it still has that kind of realistic feel to it. That if there's mountains, they look like mountains, they look like they would feel like mountains. If there's trees, it looks like bark are on the trees, even if it's your hand. Like the cactus picture where it looks like cactus and it has the little stickers coming out of it. Okay, surface textures. Hands, interaction in the drawing. For 9 to 10 points, outstanding ability to create an emphasis on the interaction between the hands and the landscape. Highly accomplished ability in creating a visual interaction so that they're playing an integral part. They are important to the drawing. For 9 to 10 points, shading techniques, stippling, cross-hatching, hatching, squircling. The entire drawing shows extreme care and thoughtful use of the stippling, cross-hatching, hatching, and squircling shading techniques. So you use them in your work so things look three-dimensional and realistic. 9 to 10 points, outstanding ability to create the different values. All 10 value steps are clearly represented. Now, for 9 to 10 points for an accent color. Outstanding ability to create accent color areas in your work. If you choose not to do this, you need to explain why you've chosen not to add any kind of accent color. You could use gray. If you take a little bit of water and you take the India ink and you do a wash and you kind of add like a gray wash to it, that could count as accent color as well. 9 to 10 points for craftsmanship. Careful time and extreme care was put into the entire drawing. All background areas of the paper are clean and smudge free. Excellent use of class work time. And 9 to 10 points, it's on time and complete. Turned in with the grading rubric, with the reflection done, everything ready to go on your drawing. So, just kind of get creative. Really think about what would the land look like? Where would this place be? If you need a reference, look it up. Pick a place, maybe it's somewhere you've visited before, maybe it's somewhere you would like to go. Research it, see what it looks like, and then see, out of this whole image, what could be a hand? You know, think about how hands, they can be long, they can be kind of bumpy, so it could be part of like the land. It could be maybe like the road kind of coming up, like the trees, the flowers. How do the fingers play a part in it? All of these things kind of go into this. And again, your paper can be vertical or horizontal, doesn't matter. Draw it out with pencil first, then go in with the ink, and then like the watercolor paints. Or color pencils are totally fine, or if you do kind of a wash, totally fine, just to kind of add that accent feel to it. This would be one that has kind of an accent feel. This isn't so much a landscape, it is kind of coming out of the water, but the reason why I included this is because it's an excellent drawing of the hand and really good use of colors. It doesn't, this is rarely where you'll get the examples from, but this was really good to see how colors can be a part of it. This one is a good example of adding an accent color and creating the hand as part. Like here's the little, you know, the cave that the person walked out of. This could definitely use values. It looks very flat in it. But I didn't get to keep the best ones, you know, but it needs a little something added to it. It's good. The ideas are really great, but it just needs to be kind of pushed to that next level. You guys will push yours to that next level. I want to see these kind of images coming out. You guys will do great. Talk to each other, share ideas, bounce each other. Do not bounce each other. Bounce ideas off of each other. Like, what about this? What if I did this? If I did mountains, where could the hand be part of the mountain? Or if I wanted to do flowers or roses, you know, how could the hands be a part of that? Talk to each other, use each other for ideas, sketch it out, really kind of practice what you want, and then go to your final drawing paper. You'll do fine. I can't wait to see how these look. These always kind of turn out really cool, especially if you get really creative with them. Like, just take your imagination and let it go. And I look forward to seeing how they turn out. Good luck. You'll do great. Okay, bye.